really quick video. 2005 CBR1000. The water inlet on this side. A lot of people say you have to drop the engine in order to get this water. Now what happened is my water inlet pipe right there got damaged by a no-cut frame slider. Bad idea. Never use a no-cut frame slider, because you see how bad that's bent? That bent when it dropped and it smashed my inlet pipe. The best thing was to be doing was to use a no-cut frame slider, because these no-cuts suck. So what I did is I got my new pipe, and you see that? I cut a little slit in it right there. You know why I cut a slit in that side? Because I actually left the bolt in there. If you can look in there and see, you see that bolt down in there? That bolt is what I left on there, so I didn't have to drop my frame. Because all I did was loosen up that nut right in the front right there. I loosened up that nut, which gave me a little bit of play, because I used that breaker bar right here, because I got this breaker bar, and you just barely put it in the side of the engine right here, barely. I mean, you don't, it just drops right in there just like that. See, it's easy, it drops in. And you do not want to use a lot of torque when you pull it. I mean, you barely pull it, and it'll give you like 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters of space, so you can turn that little 8 millimeter nut that's up in there that holds this side of the water inlet. Now, how I got this water inlet off is I got this breaker bar right here. I took this breaker bar, I slid it inside of here like this while it was still on the bike, and just said snap, snapped it right off. That left me these two little pieces to pluck out. So I said pluck, pluck, pluck those two pieces out. I turned my little 8 millimeter a little bit. No, yeah, you got to take this rectifier off. Take that rectifier out the way to give you a little more space to work with. And I just got my little angle grinder here. Got my angle grinder. Shaved out a little piece there, and I shaved out as less as I had to, because what I wanted to do was make sure I didn't cut off too much to where I ruined the integrity of this piece here. I didn't want to ruin the integrity of it. So I only shaved off a little bit, and I mean, I barely cut some out, and I was slowly shaving, and I was using the bolt that I could get off just to kind of gauge how much more I needed. I mean, it slides on there perfectly. So you can see right here, I'm gonna slide it in here for you. Let me move my light right there. So you can see, there's my water inlet right up there. And I just slide this right into place, like so. Wait a minute. This video sucks right now, because what I want to do is show you how, okay, there it is. It's right on the edge of that bolt. So I slide it on that bolt, and it slides right up in there. Wait a minute. Anyways, that's how it's going to go. I mean, I did it earlier. Here you go. There he is. So now it's slid on there. So now it's locked on that side, and as I swing it around, it lines up to that hole right there. See, now it swings and lines. So I got my top. My top is on there. Well, if I had a light above, I could show you. But anyways, this piece slid, this little slit slid on the bolt that's up in there that I didn't want to take fully out because the frame is in the way. It locks in, slide this around, lock your bottom in. Then you can tighten up both of them, and there you go. You just put the water inlet pipe on without dropping the frame. All you did was just loosen up this bolt here. You loosen up that bolt a little bit, and it allows you to get a pry bar, just to pry barely, I mean like 2 millimeters of pry space, just so you can get your wrench in there, your little 8 millimeter wrench. Work it a little bit. You get that wrench up in there, and while you're pulling that bar, just work it a little bit, crank it a couple of times. That's all you need. And I mean, it'll just, the piece slides right up in there. Tighten it back down, tighten the other side in, tighten that bolt back up, put your rectifier back on. That's it, you're done. You just did a water inlet, and all you did was cut like a little C-slit in it right there, and you're done. That's it. And there you go. It's all secured in there. I mean, I didn't have to really use the pry bar to tighten it back up, because you can come over the top of it, and you got to take this little bracket here off too. That little black bracket right there, that's the fairing bracket, and it bolts in right here. It'll bolt back in, don't worry about it. But you get your 8 millimeter wrench in right back there, and you see that bolt? There it is right there, and there's my new piece right there. You see how it's snug around it? It's snugged around it. I just slid it right on top of that bolt there, and I put a ton of gasket maker on the back end of it. So when I put the gasket maker on it, I mean, it's already got the little rubber O-ring, but I also put the gasket maker on it just to add extra, you know, security to it. But like I said, it's tightened, it's on there. I never dropped my frame. I'm about to tighten that bolt back up, put my rectifier back on, my fairing bracket. And you know, when my fairings come back in, I'll be getting her all put back together. Just had a little spill. See that? I mean, kind of scuffed her up a little bit, but hey, it happens. She'll be back on the road pretty soon.